Hunting is not easy. It never has been. It takes dedication, motivation, a lot of patience, and quality gear. If you manage a food plot, put up stands, or need just one more game camera, we can help at MidwayUSA.com. We opened our doors in 1977 and continue to put customers first by offering super fast, same-day shipping. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to MidwayUSA.com.
At Midway USA, we put customers first. The Nitro Express shipping system is icing on the cake. It was a big investment of time and money to take super fast, low-cost shipping to a whole new level. The Nitro Express helps ensure same-day shipping and low shipping cost. We hope you enjoy the Nitro Express. We built it just for you. For just about everything for the outdoors, go to MidwayUSA.com. I'm Larry Potterfield with Midway USA. Thanks for your business.
Just be sitting up there jacking Pepsi.
I'm there for the pack out. You just got to pack me in.
Committed to the bow early on. Like, I love getting close and putting up.
You cover a range of stuff on here too, right? Like,
we call this the THP World Headquarters.
You know, my grandpa Roy Weatherby.
I came into like that golden little pocket where there was like 4 or 5 different bulls. Just.
You're Canadian? We're doing a Canadian podcast?
My name's Douglas Bode.
I'm Robbie Denning.
Roy Candy.
Not me.
Well, I knew you were going to. I might as well.
Muc making business calls, eh? There's a lot of faces in this room. There's a lot of meat in this room, boys.
Yeah.
A lot of sausage.
Yeah. What's going on, fellas?
Well, Muc, how you doing, Muc?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Are you ready to choke me out yet?
What was that?
Are you ready to choke me out yet?
Choke you out?
Well, for teasing you about not coming bear hunting.
Oh, fuck. Dude, the pictures and the trail cam stuff was enough. Like, it was just like,
Muc, you look like you crawled out of a dumpster. I don't think I've ever seen you with that much facial hair.
Well, you know, I said to Kevin I wasn't going to shoot till he got his bear, and then I just kept it. I don't go back to work till Friday, so tomorrow might be shave day.
Fuck it, grow it out. I guess you can't, eh?
No.
Why not?
There's tons of cops with beards. Don't give me that.
Not 5'7" cops with beards.
That's fair enough.
Oh, right on. Fuck, boys. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Successful hunter, you guys, eh?
Landen, he's a fucking killer.
Well, you
Killing
too.
Big bears.
Yeah, I don't know about a killer.
Do we want to get into that right away, or should we just? I don't know. It was pretty. Fuck. I'm glad I was part of that because it was a lot of fun that night. The first night, Muc showed up. Shit just went down. It was fun.
I'm a good luck
chaos.
There was a couple times when I looked over and you were sitting in the other stand, and you're just like you were Landen. You were just like deflated, completely deflated.
No, so the bear came in and I shot him. That's just how it went. That's the end of the story. What a shit show of a hunt. My goodness.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I had a lot of fun.
It was good, yeah.
Pete, you should have been there, buddy.
I know. Yeah, it is what it is.
Like, like Derek has a newborn at home, so he has a bit of an excuse, you know. He was just out here, and you know, with a new kid, fuck man, like he's got a whole bunch of hunts coming up in September. Yeah. I get it. But you got no kids at home. You get 18 weeks a year off with paid vacation or whatever it is you get. And like, so like really,
I didn't get as much overtime bank this year as I normally do. And I'm like, I'm going to make sure I'm out there next year, but I can't sacrifice any elk weeks because all my holidays go for elk hunting.
We should have a little bet going here to see if Pete makes it out next year. I'm gonna say $50. Says
who gets
he
the money? Do I get it?
Maybe what we'll do is We should get a big pool. We'll have to get like a big, I don't know, a big bet going on. We'll get it going on with the listeners and everybody. We'll get them chiming in. Does Pete make it out? Or is it going to be like...
Sorry, Pete, but I'm voting you're not.
I'd just like to hear why not.
Just all the shit that Kevin told me over the course of 2 weeks.
There's the first goddamn mistake you made right there, was listening to a freaking word he said.
I don't know, Pete. Like already, I'm giving him invites, and already he's coming up with scoops. Like, well, you know, as long as it doesn't interfere with this and this and this and this, and I'm good to go.
Actually, what I said was there's only one date that I need to kind of keep cognizant of, and that's National Range Day, because I'm the president of our club, and it's kind of the day that
I thought you said Flag Day or something like that.
No.
Okay.
No.
National Range Day.
And it's not that somebody else can't potentially take over, but it's like one of the couple events that I fully do myself and arrange and all that kind of stuff. So lots of
Pete, I'll say you'll make it. I'll put it out there. I'll put out the good vibes.
Yes, kiss my ass, Kevin.
Derek, what do you say?
I don't know.
Oh, fuck you too, then, bud.
I don't know.
Well,
you'll be there. You'll make it. You'll make it. You'll make it. It's a pretty far distance, so I get it.
We need a tiebreaker in here. It's not. It is, but it isn't. It's like from Kelowna. It was, it's 2 hours and a bit flight.
Yeah,
as long as you don't get probed at the airport for some blades or. So on the way there, the first time I went, I got hassled about the thermocell fuel.
Oh yeah.
I got they gave me a shit about that, so they wouldn't let me take my extras, and they also wouldn't let me take my knife. But I had my knife in my carry-on, like on the plane, not in the luggage part.
I get that.
So you have to have it with your under the plane, so you don't have it accessible. Okay. So the second time I didn't bring a knife, and I didn't bring thermocell just because I didn't want to go through the hassle again. And then on the way back, flying from when I was in Regina, there was one of the blades, the quick chain blades for the outdoor edge knives.
Yeah.
It was hidden in my bino harness, and my bino harness I threw that bino harness this time in my carry-on stuff. And they're ripping through and they're like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Well, it's a knife for a blade I don't have because you guys took it last time." So anyway, but I made it back. It was good. It was a fun flight home. It was good. Fucking weather. Like Calgary, in and out of Calgary is every time it's freaking gnarly going in and out of there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's always windy. It's always shitty. Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
So you didn't have a direct flight at all, hey?
No, it's to Calgary. It's like an hour to Calgary and then an hour and 20 minutes to Regina. And that's it, man. And then it's 3.5 hour drive and you're sailing. But the time goes by like it flies by.
Yeah, those are
short.
On the
way there, Landen and I, we stopped picked up some grub and fucking flew right by. And on the way back, me and Muc, we stopped and had a little bite to eat. And where was it we stopped? Yorkton?
Yorkton, yeah.
Muc was hungry. It was good. Good time.
Hey, Pete, one thing I did learn about Kevin, though.
Yeah.
He does not like the shit I like to eat.
What do you like to eat?
So the first time we went, and fair enough, we just met for the first time as far as like face to face. But I went and I bought Costco hot dogs. I bought what the hell else did I buy? Pizza.
Cardboard. You called it pizza.
And by the end of that first stint, he didn't eat anything except for he flattered me with one piece of pizza, I think, the very first night. But other than that, he didn't eat anything I had taken up there.
No, saw the second go around go.
It was good. Landen and I did the shopping. It was freaking money.
Yeah, we kind of coordinated a little bit.
Oh man,
he made some. I think it was elk, or was it deer or elk? He made some elk tacos the first night.
Yep.
No, it was good.
That's
a lot of fun.
A lot of deer pepperoni.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that deer
that sounds
pepperoni
good.
you make is you got to try Landen's deer pepperoni. It's
So you
next
make
level.
it yourself then?
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, buddy's got a smokehouse and turns out all right.
Interesting. Very nice. So where you guys are camped out of, how you guys set up there? You guys got a trailer there? Or...
Oh, dude, we fucking roughed it.
Oh, yeah.
Divvy hunting, you know.
Yeah.
Just
spike
roughed
count.
it.
Kevin's old ass doesn't do that bivvy hunting.
Yeah, we really roughed it. No, it was some friends at of Muc's, Brenda and Danny. It's awesome. They had a big cabin there that they let us use, and
that's way
cool. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
No, it sounds
a few more ticks this time though than the last time, and mosquitoes. I got a picture of Landen checking the trail camera, and his back has like 1 million mosquitoes on it. It's crazy.
Oh, you took a picture of that?
Yeah, it's on my phone here.
That kind of reminds me back in my Saskatchewan days there. I don't miss that stuff just on a daily basis. That's something else. The size of the mosquitoes too. They're not just regular BC mosquitoes. It's fucking.
Oh man, if you didn't have a thermocell, like what did you do? Like what did you do before thermocells? You just manned up, and dealt with
it. Yeah.
Cans of off.
Cans of off. Yeah.
Yeah. Until you're sick.
Yeah. The sandbag or the old musk oil, the old DEET.
Oh yeah, I like legit like OD'd on DEET, sprayed it all over my head, and just like violently ill. And it's just like, oh, feeling kind of sick. Touch it, it's like sopping wet.
Your hair's falling out.
Yeah,
but the mosquitoes aren't biting me.
Yeah, they're trying to get at your eyeballs, bouncing off them.
Just cover yourself in the carcinogen. Yeah.
You know, the thing about the thermocells, and so that one night Kevin and I were sitting in the stand, and they were so bad that one of the few days that we actually had good weather in the evening, but they were so bad, and we fired up the thermocells, and it was about 15 minutes, and it's like you went from breathing them in to absolutely like there's no mosquitoes here. Like,
gone.
If you could get a sponsor as a thermocell, the greatest thing in the known to man right there. You couldn't bear hunt without it.
No, like sitting in that stand, like, so the first night Landen and I went in there was mosquitoes. Like we sat on the ground, and it's funny because like, well, we were on the, I don't know if it's any better.
Ticks. So you're getting it both ticks and
lots of ticks.
Jesus.
But like even up in the tree stand,
I'm not coming.
Even in the tree stand, I was like, you could see I was flicking ticks off. So
really?
I don't know. But the fuck was I talking about?
On the ground.
We were on the ground. Yeah, and the mosquitoes, they were fucking horrid. Thank God for those thermocells. But yeah, they do take a few minutes to kick in. So you got to deal with them for the first few minutes. They're getting some blood out of you. You're a few pints low by the end of it, that's for sure.
Hey, when we had that, was it Dan the Tick Man on? Was there any like bands or anything? I can't remember that. He said we're good for. I was just thinking like your ankles or something.
No,
like
Pete, what you do is Landen for me. So you know those chewables you get for dogs? Run down to the store and pick those up, and then I'm serious, and then just chew on a couple of those, and they keep they work dandy.
Yeah, they bite into you and they die. You just have to leave them on you till they die. You'll be fine.
Another good trick, as I learned, is raid on the hide.
Yeah,
fucking those ticks just fall off.
Yeah,
but it's got to be specific.
Yeah, my dad used to do that all the time. Yeah, crawling insects, same thing as arachnids, right? So that's what my dad and his brothers, when they
you just spray it down.
Yeah,
it's crazy, and you just watch them like in the tub where you catch them blood. They were just in the morning. They're just filled with ticks. Crazy.
Did your bear have a lot more ticks on it than mine?
Vico? Oh yeah, I would say so. It did.
I thought so.
I don't know. There was a lot on your bear too, but I don't know. There was a lot.
Yeah, lots in general.
Yeah. So did you get that skull meted out?
I got it meted out and did a rough green score on it, and I don't know. We'll say tentatively, it's looking like it might be 2 to 3/8 over 22 inches. So 22 and
Crap.
3/8.
But that's what Muc figured. He's figured it.
That was exactly what he said. So
that's just over 22.
Wow,
what blows me away
incredible.
is your guys' ability to size bears when you're sitting in that tree stand. You guys it blows me away. Because it's almost like the opposite. Like they don't look as big. But you know what the thing is? You're so fucking close to these things. Like there's no room for ground shrinkage at all because you're only like 20, 30 feet from them. Sometimes even closer than that.
Yeah. That definitely helps. A big thing Muc did when I first went up with him is he went and got on all fours right beside the barrel.
Well, that's not very good assessment because Muc's not a huge guy. Like if you had
Did
Derek,
you grow your beard out for that?
If you had Derek up there, then I could be like, yeah, okay, that's for sure.
Is that a true story? Because I don't remember doing that.
I'll find the picture. But that just gave a really good perspective when I was kind of learning to field judge him based off the barrel and that.
Yeah,
Muc's 200 pounds.
That's right. Like that's one of the things that I tell people is, well, there's a couple of things. First of all, if a bear's by themselves, with the exception of Scaredy Bear and his brother,
Pete's Bear.
AKA
Pete's
Bear.
AKA Pete's Bear.
Funny looking one.
When you get a bear by themselves, typically I would say 9 out of 10 bears, when they're by themselves like that, they're 2-year-old or 1.5-year-old bears, and they're going to be at least 175 pounds right out of the gate. I mean, rarely do you get a 100-pound bear on their own unless there's the sow or something like that was killed. So right out of the gate, that's one thing to keep in mind, is that, it's by itself, so it's probably a 1.5 years old. And then the other thing is like what Landen said is, a grown man's anywhere from 170 to 200 pounds or more. And you got to think, how do they compare to that bear compares to what a grown man would be, right? They're a lot heavier, more belly than typically what a man would have. So right away, you can typically say most single bears are that 150 to 200 range right there. That's how I do it.
Yeah, and we talked too about if you can get a bear in a barrel, you save those for Pete. Pete shoots those ones.
Pete, just think of this though. Pete's bear next year will be 50 pounds heavier.
Well, then he goes for the smaller ones because we decided that all the small bears we're just going to name.
That's what I get left with.
Scaredy Bear.
You have lots of options.
Yeah, there's lots of options, buddy.
You know what, Kev? I was trying to think of how I can post that video of that sow almost killing that cub, because I just know that there's going to be so many people hateful over that.
Yeah.
Well, send it to me. I'm already shadow banned, so I'll just put it up on mine for you. And what's the difference?
Fuck, man, that was intense.
It was the craziest thing I've ever seen bear hunting.
So what we concluded was, there was a sow, a dark black sow, and she was with Vico, and Vico is the big bear that Landen shot. Now, actually, so I'm going to give some context to the listeners here. So we got Landen. Landen is the nephew of Muc. Now, Muc's been on the show multiple times, so we don't need to get into who he is, but little intro on Landen. So he's Muc's nephew, and you guys have been bear hunting now together out there for what, 7 or 8 years?
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys both harvested some killer bears. Like Landen showed me some pictures of some of the bears he's taken, just like awesome. So anyway, so now back to this bear. So there's a bear that's been going there for what, like 3 years now? And you guys called him Vico, right? And the first time you seen him was what, about 3 years ago, or was it exactly 3 years ago? I think the first time you said you seen him was you were hunting with your friend and his kid, right, Muc?
Yeah, the very next day after I got my big bear, War Pig, the very next day. Well, back up to the spring of 2022, like April. I remember calling Landen after I went and did a bait check and a reset. I remember saying to him, going through the cards at home here and saying, we got a big colored bear. I had no idea what it was because the trail camera took black and white pictures, but you can clearly tell when you have a colored bear as opposed to a black bear, even when the black and white. So I just said, we got a huge color bear on That's the only time we've ever had him, was like that one time. And then when I killed War Pig June 2nd of 2022, June 3rd, Vico showed up.
Yeah.
Was that after you killed War Pig, or was that after we killed our rug booners?
No, War Pig.
It was War Pig?
Yep. Because
Okay.
Darren and his boy came up the next day after War Pig. And that bear should have been dead 3 years ago, because Darren and his boy sat with us. We had no idea Vico was going to come in. I just remember sitting in the stand that you were in, Landen, and looking up and meeting eye to eye with this big brown bear. Never seen that bear before, other than that one trail camera picture. And I looked at Darren and I'm like, and his boy was shooting a freaking crossbow with a bolt. And I remember saying, a big brown's coming in. And I was like, oh my God, he's going to shoot Landen's bear. Because even back then I was like, this is Landen's bear. Because I just got done shooting War Pig. And he came in. I don't know, the boy must have fiddle fucked around and didn't get a shot off. And that's the only other time Vico's ever came in while we seen him on alive.
Yeah, so that's how Vico came to play. And now this black bear, this black sow, she hooked up with Vico. It must have been sometime within the last week, because when Landen and I got there, we had noticed that there was trail camera pictures, and he wasn't with her the first time. And then right on the Friday, we got there on Sunday, and the Friday he was with her. Right. So that happened sometime in the week that he hooked up with her. Now we end up calling it, Muc and I are sitting in the stand, and I was like, we gotta find a name for this bear. And he came up with a great name, Widowmaker. Because like ultimately that's what killed Vico, was that sow. So anyway, so this sow, so Muc and I are now Vico's dead. We'll get into the story of Vico in a little bit, but the Widowmaker is at the bait stand, and there's been these two bears. I think the first time, Landen, was when you and I were sitting there and the weather was really bad, and they're not very big. They're 150 160 pounds. They're pretty small in terms
I bet you they're 80 pounds.
80 pounds. Okay,
yeah,
perfect. Perfect for Pete. Okay.
Easy pack out.
Yeah.
Easy pack out.
Yeah. So anyway, so these bears, the first time was when Landen and I were there, and the weather was fucking brutal. It was windy, howling, piss and rain. And this one bear was pretty sketched out. It just climbed the tree, and it sat up in that tree for 4 hours, and it sat way the hell at the top of the tree, and the wind is blowing that tree back and forth 6 feet. So there was that bear we called Scaredy Bear. He had a little bit of brown over top his eyes. And then there was another one, his brother, was around the same size, but he was pure black, and they kept hanging around the bait. And so now Vico's dead. Widowmaker, their mom, which we suspected was his mom only because we kind of put the pieces together later, she's coming around this bait, and she's tolerating these two young bears, and she's tolerating them in this. And then she's at the bait, and then the one bear comes up to Widowmaker, and he just starts like pawing at her, right? Like, just whining, like, the sound that cubs look when they're calling for their mom. And he's calling for her, and like he even got to the point, Muc, when he climbed up almost like right to her, and like had his head down and was like, like totally acting like this was his mom. And then all of a sudden she snapped. She flipped out, and she fricking chased him and got him down, and she like, so like this happened so quick. Muc and I are sitting there with our eyes like wide open, our jaws like on her lap, and we're like, holy shit. And it's like, oh, we got to get this on camera, right? Like, but fuck, man, like I swear I thought that little guy was going to be dead. Like I thought 100%. She was going to kill him
100%, because you're absolutely like that 5 seconds that you're just talking about there, from the time that she was at the barrel, he kind of went in between those two trees.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he did exactly, he was kind of like, meh to her. When she snapped, he went from the tree to like 5 or 6 yards away from the tree, and she had him pinned to the ground. But like the most violence in 10 seconds you've ever seen. Like he was screaming for his life. And remember the reason I didn't have it on camera because I was using my binoculars because she was so big. Like she was 375, 400 herself that I was like, are we sure this is Widowmaker? Maybe I'll try to sex her. And so I was looking through my binoculars and you were holding the camera.
Yeah.
And then when she snapped, I'm like, I got to grab the camera. So we missed that first 10 seconds of just like it was pure violence. It was 100% violence. It was
crazy. Yeah, and this young bear is letting out the most like insane, like eerie
screams
you ever heard and like anything make. And like I was like, holy fuck, this thing's like she's gonna kill him. And then he gets away and he runs and she stops by the bait and then she comes back again. And now we got our cameras and stuff ready. And he gets a little closer and then she turns on him and he goes up the tree. And you figure that's like she's just gonna stop at the bottom of the tree, but no, like within like a snap of a finger, she's at the top of the tree trying to pull him out of the fucking tree.
Oh.
Like, and we're like, holy fuck! So this whole thing, and then it like got down, and then she's eating the bait, and then he worked his way down again, and she chased him off, and then like did it again, and got really close to him again, and she chased him up a tree again, and got her paw on him. And like again, like he lets out the most horrifying yelp ever, and I thought she was gonna pull him right out of the tree, and like this whole thing went on for a good like 10 minutes, and like just pure like craziness. So this is the one cub, and the other cub's still sitting up in the very top. He's just quiet as fuck. He's like sitting up there, be like, I don't want any part of this, man. I don't want like I'm gonna shut my mouth, sit up here and just. But yeah, man, it was intense. And then another bear came in, and then he took off, and then she ended up petering out of there. She just walked away, and then the other bear came down. But man, that was pretty intense for 10, 15 minutes.
So that's how we put the 2 and 2 together, because like Landen and I have been around those baits. And so we know we've been around enough cubs that we know that sound the cubs make when they're calling for their mom. That's what he kept doing to her. And you know, the thing, I got to give that little prick credit. He kept coming back to her because like it's like she snap on him and then he would climb down the tree and then make that sound and walk towards her. So like I was saying to Kevin, we're watching in real time her kicking her cubs out.
Yeah.
That's something else.
It was cool, incredible.
I always wondered how that actually happened, like whether it was over a real long period of time or
well, you know, the thing is, if Vico is still alive, well, the thing is, she has to get rid of him because if you know a male will kill them, right?
Yeah,
he'll just kill him.
Yeah,
so she
breeding.
has to be has to be as you know. Well, it was like Muc said, that one he kept pawing at her, kept coming back, and he kept doing that fucking like that whine that he does. Sound like he's calling his mom, like. But that poor little bugger, man, fuck. A couple times there, I was like, oh, like you just don't get it, buddy. You got.
So one other thing that I learned too, that a 350, 400-pound bear, we think's a big sloth when it comes to climbing a tree. Holy shit, could she climb that tree after that cub? Yeah. It was unbelievable.
Snap of her fingers. She was up as high as she go. The only thing that stopped her was because the branches were once you got into like the real thick the branches got too thick, like too many of them. Because at the top of the tree, when you get to the top of the tree, there's more and more branches, right? And he kind of just like slithered through there, and then she kind of started getting hung up on the branches. And that's the only thing the first time that stopped her from getting up to him. But the second time, she was even faster because remember she got her claw on him and. Fuck, he let just the more. I was like, I almost felt bad for the little guy. I was like,
how many times do you think she treated him?
Fucking tree?
How many times do you think? Had to have been 10 times, hey?
Yeah, had to be because she kept running him and like she would just run at him and he'd climb up the tree and run at him. He climbed up the tree a couple of steps, but like those two cubs, those two young bears, they were doing that the whole time. And like, how many times did we get out of the stand to go shoo that bear off? And like he would just like circle around us, and like as soon as we turned away, he just run back to his tree and then climb up his tree.
Mm-hmm. That's why we nicknamed him Scaredy Bear.
Yeah, funniest shit. But man, like I gotta say, like you learn so much by sitting and watching and interacting with these bears all day. Like it blew me away how much you actually learn about bears when you get to actually see them in their own environment, see how they act, rather than just like looking them through. Like looking glassing with binoculars and then doing a spot and stalk and hoping to get into, within 40 yards and getting a shot. You don't really learn a lot about bears and how they act and like all the calls they make and the sounds they make with their jaws and like how vocal they are when two of them are at the bait and like how vocal they are with each other. It was quite the experience.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite part about like bear bait hunting, I guess, is just watching them and their mannerisms. And yeah, they have personalities in some respect. Like one bear will be super aggressive. There'll be, say, like a teenage boar, as we would call it, a 3-year-old or 4-year-old, and he'd be super passive. And then there's another one and aggressive to every bear that comes around. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. You're just bear watching.
That's partly why we name all our bears, because they have personalities.
Yeah.
Like it would be so boring if you didn't.
No, and it's a lot of fun too. Like we're sitting there and you're like, oh, there's this bear and this bear, and like you start to know them, and like because it seems like they kind of the same group congregate around the bait. But I mean, once like random bears do come in, they get a sniff, and then they move on, and so you do get a lot of like one-timers. But it's definitely cool, man. You definitely, like I said, I think I learned more about bears in that last week than I've learned my whole life hunting them. Like it's just amazing. Like just even like their calling and how they like, even like how the males, like Vico, he didn't want to come in, but you can hear him in the background. He was just sitting in the bush there, and he's calling that sow, right, telling her to get over here, like, hey, let's go. And she was comfortable at the bait and she's eating, so she's like, screw you, I'm gonna do what I want to do, right? But yeah.
So when your tree stands there, are you guys in singles or are you guys in doubles? Like I'm just thinking, like, are you guys just each singly, sitting in a single, couple trees apart?
It's Cadillac, dude. It's fucking Cadillac. So the first time we go there, we pull up to the bait, me and Muc, and we drive up, and I'm looking at the bait and I'm looking at the tree stand. I'm like, I thought it was a joke. Like I thought they were playing a fucking joke on me. Like there's no way, like that tree stand is so fucking close. You could like it was too close to seem real. Like it was crazy. We're talking like 9 yards away. I'm like, holy fuck, that's close.
Shit.
And then, but after, like once you get the setup, you're like, it actually all makes sense, right? Like it totally makes sense. Because once you're up in the tree and you're sitting there, once like you just quiet when they come in, you just let them settle on the bait. And then once they get in there and they're settled, they're fine. You could even get up and move around, make noise, and like, you know what I mean? Like fucking Landen and I were taking a piss off the tree stand fucking one morning, and like, fuck, like they just don't give a shit, man. They're just doing it. Like,
just wheels. Wheels his head around, looks at you, keeps eating.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, but when you're that close, you do, like I was saying, like these guys have a really good eye. I mean, over time, obviously, the more like they've got so much experience watching these bears that, they're gonna get good at it. But like their ability to judge bears and like the size of bears and like the weight, and they're like they come in and like, oh yeah, that's a 310-pound bear, and probably be like 18 3/4 or 19-inch skull, and like fucking just blows your mind on how good they are at judging them. But when you're that close, that's my point, is like when you're that close, there's no room for ground shrinkage, right? Because you're literally like you're interacting, you're right there with them. So I mean, when you think about it that way, like it's actually, it makes sense after you get used to it. And yeah, I mean, it's when you're in the tree stand, it seems like you're further away than you are, but once you get down, you're like, fuck, it's not that high off the ground, and like the barrel's right there. But it's definitely cool, man. It's a good setup you guys got.
One of the worst things that can happen bear hunting is have a medium-sized bear come in right away when you first get there, because it throws your calibration out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because typically the big bears don't come till later in the evening, and then it's darker, and like I said when we were on your show last time, typically the way it works is the small bears come first and they kind of get bigger as the night goes. But if you get a medium or what we'd consider a large bear come in right away, it's hard to field judge after that, because you think everything's big or you think everything's small, and even the small ones aren't small necessarily.
Yeah, no, they're definitely not. Like that's what I was saying. Like the first bear, if Pete came out, the first bear that rolled into the stand, I'd be like, dude, you got to shoot that fucking bear. You got to shoot it. You got to shoot that bear, man. You got to shoot it. And then he'd shoot it and be like, dude, you shot the fucking smallest bear in the bush. What are you doing?
Do that too, 100%. You absolutely would. So I will not be sitting with you.
Well, we have a plan.
Yeah.
So anyway, to answer your question, Pete, there is like, so there's a double stand. So like there's 3 baits that the boys run, and they got names for them. One's called Bo's bait, one's Shaggy, and one's Beaver. And like, they all have a double stand there. So when you're sitting there, you can sit with a guy, but then like Bo's bait, it has a single so when he shot Vico, Muc and I were in the double, and Landen was in the side. Okay. And it's just funny because it just so happens like I moved that stand over to that tree, and it ended up working out fucking perfect that night. Like, compared to where it would have been on the other side.
You know what? We're so fucking close to not getting that bear, because remember when we pulled the cards and we're all sitting there talking about where to sit, we were so close to going to Shaggy that night.
Yeah, we were. And it was like, yeah. And and the thing is, I think like if the 3 of us weren't there, it might not have went down. You know what I mean? Because like it all came together perfectly. And like the thing is with these big bears is you're waiting for the one, and like they come in maybe once a week, right? And like he came on camera, he was there the Saturday, I think the Friday, right, Landon? We'd seen him on camera on the Friday, and then before
Wednesday
that, it
was Friday.
Yeah, and then but before that, it was it was like 10 days before that or something like that. So you never know. Those bigger bears are not consistent like the other little ones are at the bait. So like if you miss them that day, if you're sitting in another tree stand and he comes in, fuck, you might not get another chance on him while you're there, right? So we got super lucky. But that was, like I said before at the beginning, that was one of the coolest things I've seen. Like I've seen a lot of cool shit, obviously, but that was pretty damn cool. It was a really cool experience because that bear came running in hot and heavy, right around 5:30, and we only seen fucking 10 seconds of him. And I was like, and it was like all Muc was like, "There's Vico, there's Vico," and then shit was going down, and he just ran right past on the outskirts, and then, and then later, a couple hours later, it got Western. So who's going to tell the story? Because Muc and I are sure we got a little different version of the story than
Landen's going to tell his story.
So maybe Landon, you tell your story, and then Muc and I will tell the truth.
Yeah, like I said, he came in once and shot him. It was game over.
Just like that.
No. Oh, amazing. What a absolute shit show of a bear hunt. Like, I don't think I've hunted for most of my life, and I don't think I've ever vibrated like that. Like I couldn't. I'm trying to like hold my arrow steady so it's not bouncing on my rest. But every time he'd come in, I was good. It just steadied up. But as soon as he was out of sight, it was just like the world was ending.
Yeah. So what happened here was this. So we're sitting in the stand, and then we see this bear come in, and we determined it was a sow, and it was Widowmaker. She comes in, kind of does this loop, right? And this was around, I'd say, 4:45. And she does this sort of loop around the bait, doesn't come to the bait, and just kind of peters around and then takes off. And then about 15, 20 minutes later, Blackface came in.
Yep.
And he came in hot. That we never seen this bear ever before, and we ended up naming him Blackface later on. And he comes in hot too and follows the same path she did. And then I'd say about another half an hour after that, 45 minutes after she came in, that's when Vico came in, right? He didn't do the same pattern. He was going like full steam on the outside of he came up from the beaver dam, and he went straight over that little ridge there down to the trail.
Yeah, I actually, before Muc and you said Vico, I could hear popping.
Yeah.
I couldn't see him come across the beaver dam, but I could hear popping, and I'm like, oh, well, there must be a bear around. And then all of a sudden, Muc, Vico.
Yeah. And then that's the thing is, like, we've been watching these bears, and we've seen some good sized bears, like over 300-pound bears, maybe 325. When that bear came in, you're like, holy fuck. The big boy. So you could just tell, like, okay, there he is, right? You could tell, like, he's a big fucking bear, and he's walking in like a grizzly. And he peels off. And then, the weather was really, like, we went in there and it was beautiful. It was really nice. and then it got shitty. It started fucking raining and windy, and then it cleared. You know, we seen Vico, and then all of a sudden it cleaned right up. It got nice. The wind calmed down. It got really sunny again. The mosquitoes were out in full force again. And it kind of had that feeling that something was going to happen. Because like Muc and I were in there talking. We were sitting next to each other, and we're like, this night's not over yet. Some shit's going to go down here. Like, we just had that feeling. And then sure enough, we're looking down, like down this trail, with the trail that you walk up and the quads come in on to rebait, right? So we're looking down there, or this bear starts walking up the trail, and we're like, hey, is that sow? And then we're looking and we're like, yeah, I think it is, right? And then sure enough, who's behind him? You see this big hump of this big brown bear, right? And then everyone's, you know, the heart starts beating a little bit, and then it's like, okay, it's fucking game time here, boys. Here we go, right? Muc's got the camera, Landen's getting ready, you know, everyone's getting jacked up, and we're just watching, right? He's coming in really slow, really slow. She's coming in kind of like tiptoeing around because they know we're there, right?
And there was a small bear in the bait at the time too.
Yeah, you're right. There was.
Victor,
and
yeah.
then so, and she's kind of working her way up to the bait slowly and just sniffing the air. They know we're there. And so eventually, you know, she's walking in hesitant. He's behind her. He's unwilling to come in. And then all of a sudden, Vico gets wind of this other bear that's at the bait. So he starts walking in front of her. Right. And then that's when I was like, oh, fuck, this bear's going to die. This bear's fucking dead. He's going to step out and fucking Landen's going to drill him here. He's going to drill him. So you take it from there, buddy. What was it?
So,
give us your bird's eye view.
As he was walking up, I mean, he's sub 10 yards right when he took over the lead coming into the bait. And I had my pin set at 30 because I thought he was going to skirt kind of around where they were before because he was being dodgy. And his head was behind a tree coming in as he was walking in on this trail, and I moved like this. I came off my release, moved my hand about 6 inches forward, and he just pegged me. Just looked me right in the eye and wheeled around.
Yeah, 180'd it.
Started walking away. Like Kevin said, it was pouring rain minutes before. Rain jacket on. Drew as he was walking away, and all three bears just scatter. Let down and just, you're not going to get a chance at a bear like that again. That being said, it was still early.
Yeah, Muc's 7:30 at this time.
Muc's
and you can see the look in your
this.
face too. Yeah, Muc and I were sitting there, and we're like, it's not over. Like, we're good, right? And he left, and then you got comfortable again. You took off your bino harness, took off your rain jacket, and then we're like,
dude, you're deflated. You were fucking deflated. Holy shit.
Well,
yeah,
man,
the first time it looked like somebody just stole your ice cream cone. Yeah, you were just like, you were totally deflated. Like, looking in your eyes, and you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, like thinking. And you know, the thing is, like, with a world, like a trophy class animal like that, whether it's an elk, like, it's understandable that you get one shot, right? And if you blow it, you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, we had kind of had an ace in the hole because the sow hadn't spooked yet, and he was following her, and all she needed to do was get back at the bait and settle down, right? Just get there, settle down. And Muc and I were talking about in the stand, we're like, if she comes back, let's let her get to the stand, and like, let's focus on her more than the other guy. Let's not even worry about him. Let's let her get real comfortable, because no matter what, he's going to keep coming back for that piece of tail, no matter what. He's going to be sniffing her. She's in heat. He's going to want some of that, right? So, and sure enough, she didn't go far. She came right back, and we just let her get settled. And then sure enough, you seen him again. And this is when it got good. The second time is when it got good. Not as good as the third, but it was second one.
There's a third?
Yeah, there's a third.
The second one was the best.
Buy a lotto ticket? Jeez.
That's what I mean, man. Like, so knowing how sketchy he was, she was eating there for, I don't know, 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
He took his time on the next time, because like he knew we were there, like I said, and he's like, but you know, he got, that's why we call her Widowmaker, man.
And he started to do exactly what I thought he was going to do and skirt that outside edge just on the edge of like thick kind of undergrowth that's about 6 feet high, but he still has eye shot on her. And I ranged all that, and 30 was the farthest that I would have a shot. And he was doing that and like being super sketchy, pausing, 2 steps, pausing. And I had a decent lane, and I drew. And he stopped, trees right in front of him, kept at full draw.
Kept that full draw.
And kept full draw. And I don't know. I think, Muc, you said it was like over 4 minutes. And I'm finally sitting there and I'm starting to get a good vibe going.
We could see him shaking because like Muc and I were like shaking. He went behind a tree and I was even like, draw down, dude, draw down. Like,
oh man,
it was a while. This is like an 82-pound bow. Never mind. Like, you know, it's got some heft to it. So
I was gonna let down right there, right when you guys were saying that, but I had a line right on him, except for right up his front leg. There was just a little spruce tree right there. And I was trying to lean back. I don't know if you guys could see that, trying to get like that extra angle. And I couldn't. And then he was looking at me, and when his head went behind, I went to let down. And I have found this at the range. If on my thumb button, I curl my thumb too much on the inside of my release when I'm letting down, it goes off. And with
my God,
with being completely soaked, soaked in rain, and being at draw for almost 5 minutes, I'm letting down super slow, slow. Boing. And up it goes.
It literally goes.
The warning
holy
shot.
fuck, the funniest shit ever. Like, it literally went boink. That's the sound you heard. And like, I'm not talking. So Muc and I are sitting in the tree stand, and he's got lighted knocks, and all of a sudden, Landen's arrow goes straight up in the air, and Muc and I are like, our eyes are falling, and we're like way the fuck up to the top of the trees, like high, and it like goes all the way up, and then all the way down, and we're like, what the fuck was that? And we're like, we're trying to like, we gotta have her, like, we're trying to keep it cool, right? We're
keep your composure.
Yeah, we're not fucking busting out in laughs. We're just like, holy fuck. I was like, well, that's fucking different. I thought maybe he was gonna drop it on his back or something. Fucking like, but so this lighted arrow, and it goes straight up and then straight down, and like, we're talking like it landed like what, like 15, 20 yards from the tree stand, and it was like like it was like, like
I don't even know how it did it, because I was drawing down like this, and it just like boing,
well, like, it just
skyrocketed.
It never hit a tree either. That's the crazy thing. It never hit a tree.
The craziest thing is I'm staring at Vico's face, and because he's looking at me, and then all of a sudden this lighted arrow lands right in between him and his sow, and he just
then he blew out.
See ya.
He beetled right out of there.
Oh my fucking God.
And so, but the sow is good this whole time.
Better.
So the sow is there the whole time at the bait, and we're just like, we're sticking with the thing. We're sticking with what we determined earlier. Like, hey, whatever we do, we cannot spook this fucking sow. She has to be back. She has to, right? So now we're looking at, we got one fucking lighted knock sitting in the grass, fucking 20 yards from us, right? And the sow's like looking at us. She's like, what the fuck is going on up there, boys? Like, what are you guys doing? So then she ends up being, she slowly walks away too, and she goes down to the left, right? And then Vico, he came across the path, and then Landen drew back, thinking maybe he could get a if he would have came in front of that branch, he probably could have got a shot on him, but it wouldn't have been a great shot, right? It would have been a 35-yard shot, I think.
Yeah, twisting around the tree a little bit, and would have been a little awkward.
But we're just like, so now both the bears are gone, and we're all sitting there like speechless for like 5 minutes. We're all just sitting there like, you could hear the fucking mosquitoes buzzing, and then like we had to break the ice. So I was like, Landen, do you want me to go get your arrow?
Yeah, I wanted to fall on that arrow. God,
unreal.
Yeah, and then I think a couple other bears came in for a bit, and then we're like, and now this is like an hour's gone by, I'd say, hey, since they both beetled out of there. And then, you know, it was like, we got shooting light 10:30 Manitoba time, around 9:30. We're running off Saskatchewan time, right? We're running off you guys. So it's around 9:30. We figured we had legal shooting light. And now it's like what? 8:45?
Yeah.
Right? We're 8:45. We're like, well, we still got lots of time.
And then look who starts scrolling in.
Yeah. And then
Old
sure
Widowmaker.
shit, man, after a while, back up the trailhead.
She was first.
Yeah. She comes cruising in. And again, too, it's like deep breaths, let her get to the bait and sit there. And sure shit, she comes this time. She had no problem with it, comes right to the bait and sits down. But he didn't come. And I was kind of getting to, and it's getting dark, right? Because that fucking lighted knock's getting really bright sitting in the dirt.
Oh my God. You know, I wish this happened when I was by myself, because then I could just say that it went perfect.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So, okay, question for you guys. Where you guys are sitting, how high up are you guys in your tree stands?
15 feet.
Okay. That's a nice vantage point.
Okay, Landen, you got to keep going because it gets better.
Oh, shit. Are you serious?
Oh, yeah. We're not done yet.
Lots of angle.
Yeah. So we're sitting there for a while, and then Vico finally, he's sniffing the air. He's coming back in. But it's getting dark. And he's taking his time. So it's like, fuck. And then, like, it's funny because he's coming up the trail. And like Landen's he's doing the same path, Landen, the same path he did, except this time he's composed. He's like, I'm not going to draw back early. I'm going to wait. I'm going to do it. And like,
that's because we kept saying, calm the fuck down. We kept going, calm down, calm down.
I was calm at that point. I just couldn't stop vibrating until he came back in.
But then he did the same thing. He comes up, but he was sketchy. And I honestly don't think he was going to come to the bait. Just because all the shit, no, you know what I mean?
I don't think so. Like if he did, it was going to be well after dark.
No, and he comes up, so he's coming up to the side now, and you drew back, right? And then I was like, this is it. He's going to fucking die. Like he had his chance to stay away. This is the third time he's going to die this time. And I'm like, fucking take the shot. And Muc's like, just wait. I'm like, take it. And Muc's like, just wait.
Yeah. And he followed that trail that I initially thought he was going to. And I think I drew back one time prior and quick letdown, no arrows rainbowing. And he gave me a window and 30 yards right by a tree I just ranged. And yeah, it
fucking hammered him.
Broke good. Muc thought a gun went off when it hit him.
Holy fuck. Pete, you got to picture this now. After Landen just shoots, it is getting dark.
So Muc shoots, he doesn't shoot expandables. So he's never experienced this before. So you get that slap.
Sounds like just shooting plywood. But the funny thing is, on the camera, we've got two lighted knocks blowing there. About 10 feet apart from each other.
Yeah, it's funny because we're sitting in the stand and like so Landen fucking drills them, and it sounds like, you know, expandables when they hit the rib cage, right? They fucking sound like you take a oar and you're smacking a piece of plywood with it. And he takes off, so we're sitting there. We can see the remaining lighted knock that hadn't broken off in the bear in some trees, and then we see his other one still bright as fucking like daylight sitting in there like a marker, untouched. So we're all listening real quietly for the death moaner, just to hear what direction he goes. And we didn't get a death moan. We just got a little bit of like trees crashing and like some branch breaking as he was running. And we got out of the stand, and it's dark now by this time, and we're kind of just like, we're coming up with a plan here. We're going to look for blood, go to look for the arrow, and got some good blood. Got the arrow, and it was confirmed. It was long blood on the arrow. Good hit. And we started trailing.
Oh, we gave him 50 minutes. We gave him 50 minutes.
We gave him almost an hour.
Yeah.
So we're getting good blood, and like Landen and I got the marker tape out, and Muc's ahead of us, and he's picking up the blood trail, and he's like, oh, he's bleeding good, boys. And he goes down, and he went down this trail, and like we followed him all the way down to the trail, and then he went up the other side, and like you can see his paws where he's running, like you can see clear as day. and we're going up, and like Muc said, he's like, this is kind of fucking ominous feeling. Hey boys, 3 guys without a fucking shotgun or anything, trailing the fucking a fucking 500-pound bear that he just shot. And so we're cruising through the bush and like pushing it out of our way, and like we're creeping up, and like the whole time we're like, should we go? Should we come back in the morning? And like, well, let's just one more foot and we'll see if we get, if we got anything. And then if we get to the top, if he's not there, we'll turn around and get back. And we get to the top, and then I hear this hoof, and I look at Landen, and Landen's like, did you hear that? I'm like, yeah, I fucking heard that, man. And then we're like, maybe we should get out of here. And then Muc's like, yep, let's turn around. And so we backed out, and we're like, fuck it, let's come back in the morning. And yeah,
like for a little perspective, the brush in the undergrowth is like 6 to 8 feet tall and like crazy thick. Like if you didn't have a headlamp on, you could be probably 3 feet in that and you wouldn't be able to see them at all. Like,
yeah, it's
right
so
on
thick.
top of them.
Oh yeah, and it is so thick in there. Like, so the 3 of us were trailing. We got no weapons. Like, I got my bow. Landon's got his bow, but like, you gonna fucking hit that bear with it when he comes out of the bush at you? Because you wouldn't see him until he's 3 feet in front of you. And then so like we're blood tracking this fucking 500-pound beast of a bear, and yeah, we just heard this hoof and some branches break, and then Landon and I would look at each other and we're like, fucking Muc's like, yeah, okay boys, come back in the morning. Like, this is not smart here. It's fucking not the smartest thing we did. And it's funny because like I'm not afraid of bears, you know what I mean? And I know like Muc, you're not afraid, Landen, you're not afraid of bears, but like just because we're not afraid of them doesn't mean that shit happens, right? And like just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen, right? You know what I mean? I've been charged by fucking grizzly bears pretty close, not tracking them on a kill or anything, like where you shot them and you're tracking them, but still getting too close to a kill that they had, and they take a little run at you. But that's how shit happens, you know what I mean? Like you get in those, you put yourself in those situations, and we all know better. Like we're sitting there, like, but the thing is, our excitement got the better of us, and like we're really lucky. I mean, I was in the back, so I'm golden, right? Like I would have been fine.
Yeah, but people might think we were crazy, but you got to understand, like there was an insane blood trail. Like
it was a garden hose.
Yeah, like it was crazy how much he was bleeding. So that's what kept us going. Yeah, I don't think we would have went even down the gully and up the other side had we not had spray everywhere.
Yeah, well, for sure. And like we've seen the arrow was good blood, and we were thinking like it's been an hour now, maybe even longer, maybe an hour and 10, 15 minutes, and we were thinking he was going to be dead. But having said that, we've all been in situations where we think something's dead and then it gets up and runs away when we get because we bumped it, or we've been in that situation.
It could have been a fucking yard sale if he'd have turned on us.
Oh, yeah, it would have been ugly. Like I said, I was in the back, and I don't know about Landen, but I definitely know I can outrun Muc. So
yeah, I would have definitely pushed Muc to the ground. And...
yeah, the old guy in the middle, old short guy.
But no, yeah, and then so we go back and like fucking I think Landen, I don't know, you got like what, 2 hours sleep that night?
Yeah, I didn't sleep much, and I was just super conflicted with how it was pouring all night, and I was worried about blood, and how far did he go? And it sucked because the camera angle where you guys were at, you didn't have that video reassurance that a guy gets accustomed to when you're filming, right? Oh yeah, no, 10 ringed him. He's done. Yeah. I remember where my knock hit as best as a guy could when you're watching your arrow fly, which seems center mass, but still on a bear like that, it definitely kept me up.
Landon, I had the same exact feeling with War Pig, so I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's
yeah, till they're in your hands, it's not a good feeling.
So we were like, well, let's go sit out. Let's go. We'll have a quick sleep. Like it's after midnight now when we get back, and normally you're up at 3:20 into the stand, and we're like, well, let's go, and we'll go sit in the stand till daylight, and then we'll go look for them. And then we get up and it's fucking pissing rain. Muc's like, it's pissing rain, boys. Should we just call her and go back at 6? Everyone's like, Yep. Back to the buck. And then we got up in the morning, and it was like, well, let's. I mean, I know for myself, I was anxious to go look for him. I think we all were, and so we get on the same trail we did in like the exact same spot, and
surprisingly, as hard as it was raining, the blood was still there.
Yeah, well, the thing I was thinking after, it's so fucking thick in those trees and shit, like.
Probably a lot of it doesn't get touched for a long time.
Yeah,
the canopy.
It's got good canopy cover, and it's like a lot of that blood was like on tree stalk, like on the tree itself, right? And so it gets on the bark and stuff, and it doesn't wash off that easily. It's very porous, the bark on the trees. So, but yeah, and the funny thing is, so yeah, we're cruising around, and now we got a shotgun this time, smart, right? But it looks way different in the light. It's a lot easier to see where you're going, see what's coming up, and
he's still in the back.
And well, we got him, like,
so
looking around, and Muc finds him, and it was like, then it was fucking celebrations and high fives, and like, you talk about that experience, Landen. What was that like? Like, you must have just been elated. I know, like, I was there for you, and I was pumped, and I seen it, but just for the listeners, like,
well. So from where we stopped the night before, he was about 10 yards away from where we stopped. And it was weird because the blood trail, he almost did a loop back up through the thicket a little bit, and then seemed like he turned downhill again.
Yeah.
And that's where he piled up.
You know what? Yeah, like, you guys remember when we backed out, it was the blood trail was going due north, straight north.
Mm-hmm.
So people understand that you guys heard. So me being deaf, I never heard it, but when you guys heard that huff, and then Landen heard some cracking. So if the blood trail was due north, the cracking and the huff was more northwest.
Yeah.
So off to our left.
Yeah, because the blood trail went one way, it wide one way, and where we heard the sound was the other way.
That's right.
And so that was him. He went down when he was hit and hurt. He went down. It was almost like we were in that real thick shit. And then he was going down. He got out of it, and he must have felt comfortable in it, because then he piled back up. But then we started coming, and he was like, I don't know what like, we were so fucking close to him. I don't know, that huff and cracking was him trying to get into position to be like, fuck you guys. You got a piece of me. I want a piece of you. And like, a bear like that, and like, just the stature that he presented himself, like the no fuck around, and like, because there's a bear in there we call Piss Tank, and he is, well, you guys figure he's bigger, but Muc, we were looking at videos, and I'm pretty sure that Piss Tank ran. You and I came up the conclusion. I think it was you actually came to the conclusion that he ran him out of there, because we were watching videos, and like, Piss Tank was there, and all of a sudden Vico comes in running like 20 minutes later. And he's got his fucking hair up, right? And Piss Tank's gone. And, it wouldn't surprise me if Vico was running the fucking show around there, just because how well, like, that fucking bear had Popeye arms. He was like I said, he looked like a grizzly. A big hump on his neck, big fucking like
traps.
Yeah, traps
that we ate. But just I wanted to what Landen said about how 10 yards. So the blood went straight north. So if we would have kept following that blood, it would have taken us north about 15 yards, and then it did a kind of a J hook. So from where to off to our left, because when we went there the next day, we kind of found like a little intersection, right, guys, where we didn't know if you went left or if we went right. And I went off to the left, and you guys kind of went off to the right. And then when we all met and found him, like, where we heard him was exactly like you said, Landen, was like 10 yards off to our left. So if we would have kept going, he would have easily been able to ambush us.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Like, and I wonder if that huff was him getting ready. Like, you know what I mean? The thing is, like, we're very intimidating. Obviously, the three of us, we're loud as fuck. We stink. We just shot this bear we don't give a flying fuck about. And we got headlamps on, and like, going through his mind, he must be like, what the fuck is this? Like, is this one, like, freight train coming through there? But at the same time, it's like fight or flight, right? Like, he's going to defend himself till the bitter end. And we're getting close enough where he doesn't want to run anymore. What's he going to do?
Yeah, when they're hurt really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, what do you do with a 500-pound fucking bear? Like I said, I was in the back. Fuck, like I said, I can route, I'm good. He probably would have, this is what I would think would have happened. He would have tackled fucking Landen down, got a hold of Muc, and I would have already had the quad fired up and fucking been out of there before he even got a piece of Muc.
No, but it's still the story, even though we found him, the story gets better.
Yeah, it does. It's not over yet. But like, what a fucking bear! I walk up in this bear and I'm like, holy fuck, Landen, what did you do? You killed this fucking bear. You badass.
I was honestly kind of in disbelief. Like Muc's like acting like we just won the lottery. He's screaming and he comes and bear hugs me, and I'm kind of like, holy crap. Like this, it didn't really sink in, honestly, until I got home. I was just like, man, that is a giant fucking bear.
Yeah, it was
like
huge.
Looking at pictures and stuff like that, like he is, and like coat and everything. He's
and then we got to get him out of there. And this is where the story gets. This is where
the pack out was uneventful.
Screw you. I told the Rainbow Arrow story. We're telling this story.
So like it gets better. This story still has more to it. So we go and get the quads and the trailer. We're making a new route. We're like on the walk back. The Landen and Muc are trying to come up with the best route to get the quads in there with the trailer. And then so we get Landen. Muc's got the chainsaw, and like I'm pulling branches. Muc's cutting them. Landen's behind us, and he gets up. He had to winch the ATV up this steep part, and we get up there, and we get all the way down to him, and we're looking at this bear now, and we're like, well, fuck, we got this trailer, and Muc's like, well, here, I'm gonna go get the other quad, and we'll winch him up. And so he leaves, and like before he was even out of sight, Landen and I look at each other. We're like, let's just throw this fucker on here. We're like, fuck this guy, right? Let's get him on here. So big dick contest here. Oh yeah, I could lift this, lift that. So we get him in the fucking trailer, and we're cruising out. And like on the way in, we can hear Muc on the quad, and then the quad stops. We don't hear the quad anymore. We didn't think anything of it, right? I thought maybe it ran out of gas or whatever the fuck, or whatever happened, right? So we're cruising out. Landen's on the quad, and I'm in front of him, and I'm coming down the hill, and I see Muc. I'm like, heads up, Muc, we're coming through. He's like, don't come down here. So like we go down. I get to the bottom of the hill. Muc's all fucking beat up. He's got mud all over his face.
Fucking yard
everything
sale.
that was in the back box of the quad is now on the ground. It's fucking everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck happened, man? He's like, look, I was going up the hill and the quad fucking somersaulted on me. And we're like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, are you okay? Like, I'm thinking his neck and his back, and he's like, oh, I hurt my leg a little bit, and fuck, he's picking shit up. He can't walk. Like, he's limping around. I'm like, holy
decrepit Geppetto.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, man.
So I went to go up the steep hill that Landen winched himself up with his quad, but he was pulling the trailer. So I thought I could cowboy it up, got right to the top, and a stump spun me out. So I was just backing out. And as soon as I put it in reverse, it went right over backwards like a horse bucking. And I tried to bail out onto the right. My trailing leg got the quad, smashed it down on it. Like, so it went over backwards and landed on my leg. Instantly, I thought I broke my leg. Like, I was like, holy fuck, I landed, I broke my leg. I don't know why I said Landen to my head, but I did. And then God wasn't done with me, decides I'm going to roll the quad on top of you too. So then the fucking quad rolls on top of me. So I'm actually pinned under the quad now. It's upside down, and I think my legs broke. But all I can think about is I got to get up there to help these guys. So I fucking pushed the quad onto its wheels again, and then I'm like, holy fuck, I think I broke my leg. So I'm hobbling around, and like Kevin said, it was a fucking yard sale. There was tools everywhere. I don't even know how it got where it was. And so I'm picking them up and like, what are you doing, man? I'm like, don't drive down here. There's nails everywhere.
He's worried about the tire getting a fucking, he's like worried about Landen's quad getting a fucking screw in the tire. His face has just got implanted in the mud. The quad rolled on top of him. Like, you worried about the fucking tire, dude?
And
like,
he's sitting
I'm
there
talking
scrambling to pick stuff up.
Oh yeah, and he's hurrying, like he's slowing us down or in our way, and we're like, holy fuck, dude, like, are you okay? And he's like, yeah. And he gets up, he can't put any weight in his leg, and I'm like, holy fuck, man, what the like, and like everything in his like he's got the jaw box in the back, and there's shit in everywhere, and like in the compartment, and like there's not. I'm just like, holy fuck, man! And I was like, oh, but it worked out. We get this bear back to the ranch. There, we get him on a scale, 485 pounds or something. What a fucking tank.
Insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah, the legend of Vico.
And when Landen skinned him, Kevin looks at me. He says, "Look at the fucking size of the traps on that bear," and they look like bodybuilder's traps. So
yeah, fucking Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah,
fucking crazy.
And I've never seen traps on a bear that big before. So I looked up at Kevin and go, I'm gonna fucking cook one of those in the slow cooker. So I cut one of them out, and I holding this big trap in my hand, and Kevin's like, okay, well, so yeah, we put it in the slow cooker and we ate it.
It was delicious. But this fucking trap, this neck muscle, like just coming off the back of his head, just to the back of his hump, it was fucking like huge. I was like, holy fuck, look at the size of this thing.
It looked like a grizzly hump.
Yeah, it was crazy. But what a bear, man. Good job, buddy. It was fun. Yeah. Like I said, like that whole I'll never forget that whole show. Like it was fucking from you know, just him coming in and out, and the arrow going up in the air, and then like Muc rolling his quad, and like the whole fucking thing.
What a story.
Oh, it doesn't get any better than that. And I was like leaving, and it's funny because like we're leaving with the bear and going out, and I was like, fuck yeah, there we go, that's better. Like finally fucking, you know, it was good. It was fun. I'm definitely thankful you guys, I was allowed to be part of it, man. It was a blast. I had a lot of fun that week and even the couple days before it.
Well, I even said to you, Kev, remember I was like, we've been hunting here for almost a decade, and you're just here for just a little snapshot of time, and you got to encounter like the second biggest, or might even be the biggest bear we've ever shot or harvested. You got to be a part of that. Like it's so rare to get those, 22-inch bears, the 500 pounders, and it was awesome.
Yeah, well, I mean, all of it, and like even witnessing like that sow, what she did with Cubs, and the whole thing was, we were still looking for another big fucking bear,
tank,
another huge bear, right? And like, which is like even just like having that bear, knowing that he's going to come in is exciting. Like he could come in at any fucking minute. Do you know what I mean? Like any minute he could come in, walk in, and like just be like, there he is, like over 500-pound bear, like just another blockhead walking in, and like even just knowing that, it's pretty cool.
So, yeah, I fell asleep one time in the stand, and like I had drool out my mouth, and I kind of woke myself and shook myself off, and I looked at Kevin and I fucking rubbed my mouth, and I looked, and there's a bear at the bait, and I'm like, when did that bear show up? You didn't even wake me up.
Well, I think that happened to Landen and I too. I think we both fell asleep and woke up and there was a fucking bear walking in. Like, but I don't know, man. Those Denali tree stands, holy fuck, are those things comfortable? I'm just like, they're like a recliner in there, man. It's like you put your feet up. And, the footrest is
that's deadly.
I don't know. I almost don't like them.
Yeah, it's almost too comfortable. Because like I don't know, Muc and I were sitting in there after, and Muc's like, I'm definitely moving a Denali into this into boats because like they're pretty comfy, man. They definitely are. But they are harder to, like with the other one, you can put the seat up and then it's done for the winter. So, but
Landen's bear was obviously the highlight of this trip. But I mean, Blackface, your bear, the one that you got, is totally directly related to Vico, because of Widowmaker. Like it's crazy how they're all intermingled.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's all part of, like, and that's the thing is, like, we were watching these, and that's the cool thing about watching these bears, and like we can see it, it kind of unfolded. It was kind of like a story unfolding over the days. That bear came in, and then like the next day, it's funny because when Blackface came in, and Muc and I were talking about this land, and like you'd already left, but like Blackface came in, and like when he first came in, we never even gave him time of day because we were looking for Vico, right? And he came in, and like, he came in again, and like, fuck, Muc and I are like, that's a really nice looking bear, right? And like, he just, his head isn't quite big enough, but like he had huge fucking paws on him, and like really nice coat, and like we watched him that day, and I was like, and I, was kind of getting a hard on for him. I was like, fuck, that's that's a nice bear, Muc. And he's like, yeah, if you want him, you can take him. I'm like, well, you know what? We still have another day. I'm pretty confident that bear is going to come back because he was chasing that sow, and we were pretty convinced that she was going to keep coming back to that bait because she was comfortable there.
Yeah, because the second day the second day after you left Landen, he hooked up with Widowmaker because Blackface came in with her.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we were looking at him at the bait, and you're like, Muc, if you're like, Kev, if you like that bear, man, he's a good bear, just take him. And I was like, well, we got one more day, let's hold out. And like we were both pretty confident that he was going to come back, and we were going to wait for Piss Tank. And then the last day, the Friday, we went in the morning. He didn't show up. It was kind of a slow morning, but then it got really nice in the afternoon. And then like we got in there and we'd seen some bears. And there was actually, was it the morning or the day before when we seen that really blonde one?
Oh, both days.
Both days, yeah.
Because it came in the night
you almost shot that bear that one time. You're like, fuck that. If that bear was a little bit bigger, I'd shoot it. It's just, another year or two and it's going to be, but like, what a beautiful rug on that thing. Like just
like a high school 1980s bleach blonde, just incredible blonde color.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Crazy. Question for you. When it comes to those dominant bears, like you got Piss Tank there, it's a great big bear. How long do you think it takes for them to figure out the top dogs out? Maybe I'm running the show now in the area. How long do you think it took, for some of those bigger bears to realize Vico isn't there anymore?
Well, Piss Tank didn't show up since like after Vico was there. And so I don't know how to answer that other than to say I think it has a lot to do with the sows.
Okay. Yeah, he could have been hooked up with the sow, and he could have just been hunkered down with her, right?
But I can tell you, when I killed War Pig, 2 days later, there was a bear almost as big as War Pig on the bait again, and I never had that bear there before. In this particular case, we were waiting for one bear, so we didn't really, there was nothing that caught our attention. So we're hoping Piss Tank would come in, but he never did.
Yeah. Gotcha. Interesting.
How far apart are your baits?
Well, Beaver's the farthest. It's good, probably 10 miles of the way the bush goes. But the other two, what'd we figure, Kevin? What did you figure out on your Onyx there?
Well, so like as the crow flies, it was a lot different than like the bush topography. And so Landen, did Muc tell you about the shaggy bait and Bose bait and the two bears being there on the same day?
Really? No.
So there's trail camera pictures of, and this is kind of a controversy because like, so to give some context to listeners, Vico was a big, beautiful chocolate colored, like color phased bear, huge. Now on your guy, he was at Bose bait all the time. Now there's another bait that's not very far, like 4 kilometers as the crow flies, but a lot further if you're traveling with the bush line. You guys originally named him what? Choco?
Yep.
Now there was some talk about you guys were ringing it off. Well, maybe this is close enough. Maybe this is the same bear, right? And then kind of going off like characteristics that the bear had, the color, like super similar. But there's pictures of Bose bait. There's one there at, what time was it, Muc? Like they were like 7 hours apart. But the same day, Landen, bears at the same, one bear at Shaggy, one bear at Bose. Now, was it the same bear? But if you look on Onyx or, Google Earth, and you look at how, on a straight shot, if he's running through the fields, if he's running through like that river crossing around the lake in there in 7 hours, maybe that's doable. But like to follow the tree line is a lot further than I thought it was. And like Muc and I were talking, like, how bears travel, right? They don't travel in a straight line unless they're with a purpose, unless that bear was saying, well, I just finished this bait, I'm going to go run over there and check out the other bait real quickly. But they don't, They don't do that.
that's-
They fucking do a pattern. Like you can even watch them. They just do like
Random
Mike and I were
shit.
yeah, random shit. Like what purpose do they have? Like this bear is at the bait. He gets up, walks over here 30 yards, takes the sniff, and then walks back to the bait. And you're like, why the fuck did you do that? You know what I mean? They just do random shit. And they walk around in circles. So like, and
it's not like they're running.
No,
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not running. And so like 7 hours, like that's totally doable if that bear was on a mission being like, well, I just ate here this morning for lunch, I'm gonna go there, right? Like he just had a mindset, I'm just gonna do a good pace walk over there. He could do it.
Oh yeah, easily.
But bears don't do that.
No.
Right? And to have this one bear at one bait and then another bear at another bait 6-7 hours apart. I don't know.
That's
Maybe we
pretty
do have
interesting.
2 bears.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, I mean, it'll be really interesting. I mean, it's kind of exciting because now you never know, right? I mean, next year, like I said, you'll know if another big one shows up at Shaggy, then you'll be like, well, look at that,
dude. You got to finish the story about Blackface though, because it was a good story in itself.
Yeah, where did I leave off? Fuck, I got a brain like a fucking goldfish lately. I don't know what it is.
Just talking about Widowmaker bringing him in.
Oh yeah, so. The bear came in. We weren't giving him a very good look, just because we're looking for Vico. And then he came in again, right? And then when he was at the bait, like I said, I had a hard on for him. I was going to take him, and I did. And I said, well, let's wait for Piss Tank. But then and then it's funny, you guys. On the last day, I was like, fuck it. If that bear shows up, I'm going to take him. And he didn't show up. We went all day, we got in there early, like 4:30, and he wasn't showing up. And all these little bears were coming in and out, and like we seen
Victor.
This other bear we called Victor. He had a big white V on his chest, and just these little bears. And I was like, well, I guess it's not meant to be. He's not going to come in. And I was like, and Muc's like, Muc and I were talking. I was like, well, I think we'll probably see one more. And then Muc's like, we're going to see 3 more bears tonight. We're going to see Tripod, which was the blonde one. We're going to see Victor, and we're going to see Blackface. And it's like quarter to 9, and like it's getting ready. I've already accepted the fact that okay, it's not going to happen. Sure as shit, these 2 bears, the blonde bear and Blackface, come rolling up. They come rolling up the trail right to the bait, and they get settled. And I was like, okay, well, this is it. Grab my bow, and I already had an arrow knocked, and I get comfortable and move a bit, and like I told Muc, I'm like, okay, I'm going to take this bear. Like we've the thing is. We had a good like hour-long look, hey Muc, the day before.
Yep.
At this bear, and I was like, "Fuck, man, he's got good paws on him. He's a good bear. His head could be a little bit bigger, but just a really beautiful coat, eh? Like beautiful face on him. Really nice looking bear."
The one thing about that bear, of all the bears that we've gotten at that place, with the exception of Vico being the chocolate color face, Blackface had the best face of all the bears because he was. It looked like an island bear. His face was pure black.
Yeah. So when he gets to the bait and I get settled, and then I draw, he gets in, I draw back on him, and he moves. So I draw down, and then again, I draw back, and he moves, draw down. He gets into position. This is the best one. He gets into position. I draw back, and he moves a little bit. So I'm hoping he's going to move, and he doesn't. And then just as I'm drawing down, he moves in front of the barrel and like broadsides me in like the most opportune, perfect time ever, just as I'm drawing down. So as soon as I draw down, I redraw back, and he moves again. I'm like, even he sits down, and like the whole time he's like shifting, twirling, because he's flipping the barrel over. So he's rolling around, right? He's like moving around, pissing around. And then I don't know, I must have drew back on that bear, like 6 or 7 times.
I got about 30 minutes of shitty B-roll because of it.
just waiting for him to hit. And then sure enough, I drew back, and I just waited till he stood up, and then I hit him. And then he fucking ran. He ran we figured about 75 yards. And then we're listening, and then he lets out the longest, loudest death moan I've ever heard in my life. And it started out slow, and it gradually got louder and louder and louder and louder. And I was like, holy fuck, man, is that like maybe he's singing a song? Maybe he's not dead. I was almost like, is this bear ever gonna die? Like, and then it was all, yeah, it was good. And then we heard that, and it was cheers and high fives. And then it was like, it's funny because like he died. There's a little trail that goes around. He died almost right on the trail. And like thinking about like how like the pack out we had for Landen's bear compared to like how easy that one, I was like, holy fuck, like. But we didn't really need to blood trail them all because we heard them howl. But yeah, no, I was super happy with that bear, like beautiful bear, and it's kind of sneaky big too, eh? Like heavy,
sneaky big, sneaky heavy. You probably go over 19, so he's a really good bear.
And one thing about that bear, his he must have broke his neck at some time because his neck, you know, where there's the socket, there's the ball joint where the spine meets the skull, that was seized together with bone. There was no joint there.
Like fused
together, like all healed over. So at some time he must have broke his neck and it all healed together. So like his spine is still attached as part of his skull.
Wow.
Pretty crazy.
Crazy tough animals, man.
Yeah, they are. Well, we all know that. Yeah. But again, I want to thank you guys for having me out. It was a lot of fun. And like, I just got to say, like, when you think of like baiting bears, a lot of people think that it's easy. You know what I mean? That like, you know, maybe it's easy and there's not a lot of work, but fuck, it is a lot of work. Like just like running the baits, you know, running 3 baits, you guys run 3 baits, but it's like hunt in the morning, come home, come back, get some grub, get the bait that you need, run in, do one, check trail, get the count cards, go to the other, do the same, repeat again, back, check cards, figure out where you're going to sit, and then you're sitting. Like it's all day. It's an all day event. It's like light to light. You know, maybe occasionally you'll sneak in a nap there, but you know, it's yeah, it's a lot of work. You guys definitely put the work into those bears. And I got to say, like, I think that style of hunting is is a lot more ethical than people think it is, just because you get to have such a good look at these bears and you get to interact with them so much that you're not like, there's no reason for ground shrinkage. Do you know what I mean? Like you get such a good look. And when you're so good at like judging these animals, like you two guys are, you know, it really, you really get to leave. You know what you're getting when you leave, right? As soon as you shoot the animal, as soon as you take it, you know exactly, you know, the size of the animal and what you're getting with it. A lot of fun.
Well, the thing about baiting bears is, with the exception of the medium-sized bears that you sort of don't anticipate, we all know the big bears that come in there, like, because they come year after year after year. So it's like somebody that's managing their whitetail. We're managing our bears. Like, you know, Piss Tank's going to be on your hit list next year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
If he survives, but there really is no reason for him to die, and so I'm anticipating that next year Piss Tank will show up and he'll be the dominant bear.
Well, and you know, the cool thing about you guys running these baits is like you kind of like, there's something at every bait, you know what I mean? Especially like beaver so far away, like could be a totally different set of group of bears over there. And like we did the very first time we seen that one big bear, right? That really nice one walking down the trail. And I think you said you've seen him there before too, but like, you never know. Like next year, you know, like you guys were saying, it was typically a slower year than what you're normally used to. But like for me, man, it was awesome. Like there wasn't a day, or there wasn't one single sit at the stand where you didn't see a bear. Like you've seen bears, at least a bear. Some of them were Pete's bear, but you've seen him, at least you've seen him every year. Like Pete, he'd tag out every day if he could. Fucking shooting those small bears.
Well, Scaredy Bear will be there next year, and he's easy to identify because of his markings above his eyes.
I think that bear's gonna be too big for Pete next year, though. He might be over 100.
I got a small spot right on my wall over here for him.
Well, yeah. It was a lot of fun.
And squirrels next year.
Fuck, dude, that one squirrel, he almost got it. He's lucky we didn't have an extra arrow. It's funny. So you're baiting these things and there's chips in there, and you fucking get this one squirrel. He goes in, gets a cheesy, and he goes up on top of the drum, and he's sitting there fucking looking right. Landen and I looking at us, fucking like mean mugging us dead in the eyes, being like, "Fuck yeah, I'm eating your cheesy. What are you gonna do about it? What are you two gonna do about this?"
I'm surprised you didn't let
when I'm done this one, I'm gonna eat another one. Well, we were talking about, we're like, fuck, that's an expensive squirrel though, because those arrows now with the broadheads, everything are over $100, right? So
yeah, it's not cheap.
No, It was a lot of fun. Again, thanks guys for having me out. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to turkey hunting next year, and then we'll be back out chasing bears. So it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, I can't wait. And Pete, you got to get out there, buddy. I'm gonna get $150 off these guys.
Oh no, you're not gonna get it that easy.
And you know what, Pete?
I want the experience.
We got to do some 3D.
Yes. Yeah, I'm hoping I can keep everything just to get it for the. When is the Iron Man again?
What are you laughing at?
Iron Man's in.
He's already
like in
right now that I could see. I'm pointing. I could see that hamster just fucking starting to get steam in that fucking brain of his coming up like
the Iron Man in Calgary.
Like, he just needs an out. Like, I could come out.
The Iron Man was in Lethbridge, and it was
right.
the January 14th. I know because it's 2 days from my wife and I's birthday on the 16th.
Okay. Yeah, it's those shoots I don't have down pat. I know I got a couple friends who go to them. I just kind of know. Yeah, I knew it was early, or I guess midwinter or whatever.
Yeah, that one's January 14th, I think. 14th, 15th.
Yeah, no, I'd love to start getting.
We're not even baiting by then, buddy.
No, it'd be awesome. I don't know what else I know Alberta's got tons of stuff. Like I see it posted all the time. But yeah, I don't really have, I'm not on like a Facebook webpage or anything like that for their circuit to know what's
the
exactly when.
Oilmans, and then there's, what is there?
Man, I almost missed my kid's grad to come to this, so you can miss a shoot.
Like I said, buddy,
that's what I want to go shooting with you.
You don't have any kids at home. You got no excuses.
Oh, no. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about with Muc saying we got to do some 3D together. I'm saying to meet you at some shoots. I'm not saying to not go hunting. No, I want to go hunting for sure, and I want to get to some of those Alberta shoots as well.
I was telling Kevin in the stand that we should do one of those fucking extreme shoots where you climb the mountain and shoot.
One of the tacks.
The tack ones, yeah.
Well, tack, or there's lots of non-tack ones that are basically there. There is one in BC. I just can't remember what it is, but it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, I heard somebody at the Cranbrook shoot was telling me about it. I can't remember where it is.
In Kamloops, I'm pretty sure at the they do it on a mount. I'm pretty sure that the one in Kamloops is like that. But
I've heard of one in BC that's really popular.
Oh, that's probably
the
one.
I think the one in Kamloops probably is the most popular. I know they had like over 300 to 400 guys at that, and that might be the one. So.
Pete, you need 24 arrows for that.
Pete, how's your shooting coming anyway?
It's coming along. After I was chatting with it wasn't going great for a bit there, but I watched those videos that you sent me there, Muc, and yeah, just I'd finally figured out my process and stuff, and yeah, it's just a couple little tweaks, but such a small thing, affects the scores big time. Yep. And it's not like it was terrible shooting. It's just like that was 2 points that didn't need to be left on the target there. You drop 3 inches or something, like, well, that was stupid. It was dead center. Why isn't it right in the middle? Just little things like that. But I got it figured out. And then actually 2 nights ago, I just switched my setup back to how I had it last year. So I was running about 506-ish grains. And I just found I wasn't able to shoot through the tree branches and stuff. We were setting up for our shoot coming up here and just seeing what some different shots look like. So we were shooting through a bunch of tree branches and stuff. And there's just too much arc in my shot. And the guys were making it through, and I was hitting the top branch and everything. And I was like, nah, this wasn't what it was like last year. Like, it was too extreme. So I knocked 40 grains off the top because I got those gold tip fact weight system. So I just ripped out 40 grains, and I just picked out my I went back to my sight tape, happened to be the same one I left off with last year, so I just did that tonight. And yeah, it's definitely more forgiving that way too, and they're definitely shooting more like laser beams instead of freaking rainbows.
Well, you got to be favored to win the provincials, eh?
No, you're just trying to put pressure on me because you're gonna be there.
Well, you play well, I'm not. I'm spectator, buddy. I can't go in it.
Pete, you should. When Kevin got here the first time, we went and shot 3D. Fuck, he didn't care about shooting 3D. All he cared about was wood ticks. Every target, he'd be like, I got another one on me.
Fuck, dude. So we're walking in grass that doesn't even get higher than like the rubber on my runners, and there's fucking ticks crawling all up me.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you like, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
What did you have, seven or so?
7 or something that I found.
Yeah, that's what it was like when I lived in southern Saskatchewan.
I think I told you guys this when we were talking last time too. And it was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is fucking, this is crazy.
And then you went on a ride along with me.
Yeah, I was telling the guys that on the last one. Yeah, that was something else. Yeah. Next time I'll just stay at the hotel.
you didn't interact with me very much when we were working. You just kind of stayed to yourself.
Dude, like I was saying, I think I told this on the last podcast that the three of us did. Like I had this interpretation of Regina and Saskatchewan, like Regina being like this really nice farming community, you know, hardworking, blue collar guys, you know, shit together. No,
not the case.
No, I was definitely wrong.
Landen had to help me wrestle a guy at the keg on a ride along.
That was fun.
So like,
just one too many drinks.
Yep.
So and that's the crazy thing about those ride-alongs is like you get in there and Muc's like, no, get in the front seat, and he's like, pulls up to something, he's like, yeah, get out. And you're like, what the fuck, man? Like, yeah, it's crazy.
That's something else.
Yeah. But
I can't wait for turkey, boys. I can't wait for turkey.
Yeah, I mean, you and I are we're on different levels when it comes to turkey hunting. Like you're up here and I'm maybe way down here. I don't really get that excited as you do, but I'm excited to have you guys out. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Hey, you got that afternoon hunt pegged off really well.
Yeah, but Muc doesn't want any part of that. I told him if he wants to come out, we can just go out we can get up at whenever, just go out at 3, kill a couple birds and call it a day. But he says no, he wants the full experience. Up at 3:30 in the bush before it gets light, gobbling out of the tree.
Yep.
Chasing them around, running around.
No, it's a turkey.
Falling falling over stumps in the dark and just chasing these fucking birds around all over. He wants that experience, so we're gonna get some.
I did it, shot it with a shotgun. I was like, I'm never getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning again for a goddamn bird.
Oh, my buddy, I think I told this story too on the show. Like my buddy Kazi, man, this guy has like the worst fucking turkey luck ever. Like he broke his hand chasing a turkey one time, and like fuck, like. But he's like Muc. He's fucking obsessed with these turkeys. And like Muc even said to me, he's like, it's comparable to elk hunting. And I was like I haven't been like Muc's got more experience like killing fucking elk than all of us, right? And like he's fucking guided on how many successful hunts have you been on for elk, Muc?
Over 200.
So like knows his shit for elk, right? Been around a lot of dead elk. He's telling me he compares turkey hunting to elk hunting. And I was going to jump out of the fucking truck when he told me this. We're cruising down the highway. It's like, fuck, man.
Well, I got that sense from you when we were first chatting about that with turkey hunting. You're like, you didn't take me overly serious. And I'm like, turkey is like an elk in the sense you call them. You got to be quiet. You got to bring them to you. And if they could smell you, you'd never kill them.
That's just where I'm saying though, like you can, if you want to go kill a bird, we can just kill a bird. It's not that easy with elk. Like I can't just get up, go hunting at 3 o'clock and be back by 5 with a fucking. I want
to call them. I want to hear them gobbling and bring them in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you want the full, all of that. Then we got to get.
I just want to kill a bird. I mean,
yeah, but no guns too. Bows only.
Bows only. Yeah.
Yeah. Right on. No, it's gonna be fun. So good. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on the show, both of you guys. Again, thanks for having me out, and it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait for next year.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks for having us.
It was awesome.
Yeah, you betcha. I'll message you.
Nice sweatshirt landed, by the way.
Yeah, I've been looking at that the whole time.
Jesus Christ.
It's amazing.
I didn't even notice. But
give her the full deal. When you're killing piss tank, I'm gonna be sitting there with my cheap arrows, just
shoot squirrels. Oh, that's so good.
You might be the only one shooting because Pete's going to be done right away because he's going to shoot the first thing that comes in.
Yeah,
and then
unless it no. Pete shoots the very first small thing that comes in. That's like it has. Pete gets he's going for like scaredy bear.
Because I'm not going to shoot anything unless it's color, and Landen's got like 2 giant blacks and a chocolate. I can't imagine him wanting to shoot anything anymore. You're the only one that's really going to be shooting, and that'd be for piss tank.
Yeah, well, Wyatt's gonna come out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Pete
there's
says
Stretch
he's
too. Stretch is a big bear.
That's a big one too. But we only seen him that one time, and he was just like walking. He almost looked like he was walking through. But no, but it's cool. It's like whitetails, right? You're always checking like that. That's a cool thing about trail cameras. And it's funny, like. When I first went there, guys, we go to the bait and Muc's got like 4 fucking trail cameras. And I'm like, dude, this is a little OCD, isn't it? And it is and it isn't, because then like he's got such a good system down that it's like, some cameras, they don't get a good picture of them. So you can't really size them that well. And then like some, they're kind of, behind the tree, and like some just don't work. We've got there was some on video, and like you'd see pictures of them or see them on camera, and like the trail camera didn't even pick them up, take pictures of them. It's crazy. So
yeah, some of the best
method to his madness.
Some of the best pictures come from the trail. The cameras that are on the trails, not even at the bait. That's
just moving in.
Yep, just moving, not even coming to the bait, but just moving from point A to point B. But that's why, I said this one other time. The reason I do that is because inevitably 1 or 2 always fails. And remember that when you were up the first time, how mad I was that one day we went the whole day without one picture on any of the cameras.
Oh my God. I thought so none of the cameras work, and Muc's face, I thought somebody was going to fucking die. I was trying not to I was like, well, it was kind of funny. It wasn't funny. It was just fucking I was like, holy fuck, he's gonna snap here. I was literally fucking snap. I'm sitting beside him, and I'm like slowly moving over like this.
The reason I was so mad,
elbow me. I thought he was gonna elbow me like I did it. I was like, holy, what the fuck did you do?
The reason I was so mad is because we're running 3 baits and we're looking for certain bears, and if all the cameras, so you could explain what happened, Kevin. We kind of narrowed it down to what we're doing, but that one Bose bait, the one with the big bears in it, Piss Tank and Vico, none of them took pictures for a whole day. So then where do you sit? Do you sit there?
Well, yeah, and after understanding the importance of them, and that really dictates on where you're gonna sit, right? I get it. It's just yeah.
I was mad. Brenda calmed me down there a few
next
times.
Level fucking mad. Yeah, you're like, I was like, oof.
But we figured out why it happened. Right? We figured out what happened. It was we're using our phones to format them.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't format your cards with your phone.
No.
Oh shit.
No, but that's what we were doing too. And like I said, Muc, he was gonna turn a page.
And I went and got a laptop.
He went and bought a laptop. All right, boys.
All right.
Lots of fun. Thanks for coming on the show.
Nice chatting
Eric,
with you.
You got anything to add?
Nope. I'll be leaving 2 days for a 10-day pike fishing trip in northern Saskatchewan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, where are you going? Where are you going?
Top secret. I'll tell you off show, but yeah, it's by LaRouche there.
Oh, yeah.
Up in there, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it should be a really good time. Hopefully get a couple.
Fuck, is it June? I guess it is June already that you're going.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, gonna try and get one with a bait caster and then try and get him with a fly rod. Big.
Nice. Hey, how did your issue go at home?
Man. Yeah. Yeah, I got her done. I ripped out the subfloor.
Wow. There's not one thing, it's another.
Oh yeah, when it's not CV axles, it's subfloors and tiles and bullshit. Yeah, never ends. Never ends.
I know, it's just so crazy. It's I just feel like
It's funny. Like I got my arrow shit to build my arrows, and they're sitting right there, and then water starts pouring down, and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, oh, okay, call my cousin up, get an inspection camera up in the rafters and boroscopes and shit, and just try and track stuff down. I'm just like, it's just everything getting in the way to just building some damn arrows.
It's never good though when you have water coming through your floor.
No.
So there's an issue.
But luckily it was like an abrupt thing. So at least it wasn't like a
that happened to my brother, and it rotted, like it was leaking around the toilet, and it rotted everything, like the floor joists and everything out, because it sat there for so long, and it just sat underneath it was kind of like what happened at the cabin there that one morning, right? Like we're sitting there and Landon's like, we got a little bit of a leak, and it was so windy it ended up blowing the shingles off the cabin we were at. So when we got back, Landen and I were up top of the roof.
Billy Goats.
Yeah.
In fairness, I had a fucking broken leg.
So
there's a lot of concern we were gonna die.
So fucking Muc, he's this is after he rolled the quad. He's limping around, and we turn around, and he's on the roof. We're like, what the fuck are you doing on the roof, man? You can barely fucking walk. So we get down, we get it, and I had my hammer in my hoodie, right? But it was just like it was kind of hanging out, and I didn't notice. And Muc's at the bottom of the ladder right below me. And I go to get down the ladder, and the hammer almost falls out of my hoodie pocket. And I grab it, and I look at Landon, and he's like, what? I'm like, that fucking hammer almost fell on fucking Muc. Like, could you just imagine just to add a little more salt to the wounds, the fucking hammer goes
hurt leg and hitting the head with a hammer.
Kevin's lands right on Muc to Manitoba.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Good times. All right, guys.
All right.
We'll chat later. Thanks.
Good night.
Have a good one.
Good night.
See ya.
Friends of NRA is your chance to support our Second Amendment rights and preserve America's hunting traditions. Join Friends of NRA at one of our 600 exciting events nationwide. From games to auctions and exclusive firearms, Friends of NRA events are your chance to support a cause you care about while having a great time with patriots in your community. Whether you're a seasoned shooter, an avid hunter or outdoorsman, or passionate about freedom, there's a place for you within Friends of NRA. Visit friendsofnra.org to find an event near you. Stand up for freedom with the Friends of NRA. Friends of NRA is your chance to support our Second Amendment rights and preserve America's hunting traditions. Join Friends of NRA at one of our 600 exciting events nationwide. From games to auctions and exclusive firearms, Friends of NRA events are your chance to support a cause you care about while having a great time with patriots in your community. Whether you're a seasoned shooter, an avid hunter or outdoorsman, or passionate about freedom, there's a place for you within Friends of NRA. Visit friendsofnra.org to find an event near you. Stand up for freedom with the Friends of NRA.